And now, prepare to be 1 degree away from the first social phenomenon. Please welcome Brian Turtle and Kevin Bacon.
Hi. This guy.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Wowsy, wow, wow.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of give a little bit of the backstory on this 20-year phenomenon that it's become, we were in Albright College, myself, Craig Fass, and our friend Mike Gianelli, watching Footloose. You can get an awesome Footloose t-shirt here, by the way. And then Quicksilver came on. And then perhaps your most popular
Did you watch the whole thing? Or?
Of course. We were in Reading, Pennsylvania, so it wasn't the nightlife capital of the world. So watching your movies was a big part of our collegiate life. And then, of course, your most popular movie, The Air Up There. A commercial for that came on, and it was just one of these light bulb moments. It's like, this guy is everywhere. He is the center of the entertainment universe. And so whether it was Mike or Craig or myself, one of us said, well, he's never worked with John Lithgow. And it's like, idiot, he's in Footloose with John Lithgow. We may have had a few. Anyway, then one of us had said, well, he's never worked with Robert De Niro. This was before Sleepers. So we said, well, no, but Robert De Niro was in The Untouchables with Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner was in JFK with Kevin Bacon. And that was the match that burnt the forest down.
Eureka.
That was Eureka moment right there. It was like the light bulb, and then it was just one of those things that never went away. You know, you have those nights, you cure cancer in a drunken bar, but it goes away in the morning. This was something that just stuck with us. It never went away. And so we went on the Jon Stewart show, and then went back on the Jon Stewart show when you were promoting Murder in the First, and we got to meet you. And I guess, you know, maybe you can tell us and tell them about how you felt about the game at that level.
Well, you know, I was sitting around minding my own business, and you know, I started to kind of hear about it in strange ways. People would come up to me and say, I was just playing your game. We were doing shots and playing your game, and I said, my game? I don't know what that is. And they say, you know, 6 degrees. And people would come up to me and say, and touch me and say, I'm 1 degree, I'm 1 degree. And I really didn't know what was going on, and eventually it became clear. I started to hear Howard Stern talking about it, and eventually went on the show and met you guys. And in fact, I believe, if I remember correctly, but you know, my memory sometimes fails me, that I was booked on the show, and it wasn't until the night before that they told me that you guys were going to be on there, and I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Because my first reaction to the game, because I took myself so seriously as an actor and as a performer, as a serious actor, whatever the hell that is, that I was horrified by it. You know, I thought that it was this giant joke at my expense.
Yeah.
And I thought the joke was, can you believe that this a-hole can be connected to Laurence Olivier in 6 steps or less?
Never the intention.
And well, no, I appreciated that now. But at the time, I was very resistant of it. And meeting you guys I'll never forget. I walked into the green room. You were sitting there, and it was very disarming to me because obviously you weren't out to make fun of me.
No.
And so I thought to myself, well, like all other sort of you know, phenomenons, pop phenomenons, it's going to last all of 20 minutes. Yeah. Like, you know, pogo sticks and pet rocks and stuff like that. And it just hung around.
Wouldn't die.
Wouldn't die.
It was like whack-a-mole. You would push it down over here and it would pop up over here. You just couldn't win.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually you succumbed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I've learned to embrace it, and I mean, not to get too heavy about it, but first off, I truly believe that there's a lot of other people that are probably more connected to more people, and it just happened to be me. My movies happened to be on. That, you know, I don't think it's any kind of a great testament to my ability.
and your name rhymes with separation, which had nothing. Well, not technically, but Kevin Bacon separation.
I don't quite hear that rhyme there.
Yeah, that's some bad lyricist.
Yeah, but I do think that if you take me out of the concept, it is a concept that we should embrace the connectivity between all of us here and the responsibility that we have for each other in this world is really, to me, is a lot about what 6 Degrees is about.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll get into talking about how you've really have taken this thing and made it something a heck of a lot more wonderful and you know, you've...
Yeah, we'll bum everybody out later on.
Yeah, we'll bum everybody out later, but let's get back to the drinking part.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, you think about it, it's been 20 years, and that's crazy, you know. We've gone different ways in life, and this game, it will come up again and be in the forefront, and then it will go away, and then it'll come back around, and then it'll go away, and it'll come back. It's like the Arsenio Hall of pop culture, you know, it just shows up. But, you know, a guy who's been around and dealing, and we're talking today, you know, on the tech side of things and how this game is connecting people and was sort of one of those touchstones of social media. And I think we can bring out our first guest. He's a guy who's been in the business of technology for 25 years. He was an award-winning journalist with PCMag.com, WinMag, and HomePC.com. Senior VP of Content for Ziff Davis, and he's now Chief Correspondent and Editor-at-Large at Mashable. His name is Lance Ulanoff, and he's our first guest here on the panel. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. I can sit, right?
Yes, you can sit.
Oh, that's good.
So,
yeah.
So Lance, I mean, you're in the business of social networking and connectivity and how people can kind of touch one another via cyberspace.
Right. It was a game in 1994. You know, when we were first playing it, and the internet was new and young, and in fact, most people didn't even have it. IMDb had come around in 1993. Basically went online, I should say, in 1993. So most people weren't able to do it that way. Played the game, but it revealed something about us. It revealed something about our connected nature. And you fast forward to now, where we're all on Facebook, we're all on Twitter, we're all on LinkedIn. We are getting the digital and, in a way, physical manifestation of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. We are seeing the connectedness. If there are 1.1 billion people on Facebook and a total of like 8 million people, we're getting close. We feel like we're getting close to that 6 degrees, because if everybody's on a digital platform, all the people who even aren't are in some way connected to the people who are on it through these platforms. And of course, it becomes more specific in something like LinkedIn, where the connection you have, and you see it, they actually do it as 1 degree, 2 degrees. I mean, where did they get that from? I mean, you know, it's an older premise, but it always feels like it's a Kevin Bacon thing. And how...
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Yeah. You've trumped the 6 degrees of separation.
It does.
Right.
It does. I mean, it is part of, you know, I did a little research and I was looking at how it quickly baked into the culture. And back at PC Mag in 1997, there was a mention of some product called 6 Degrees, a networking service, which is long since gone. But of course, they said it's just like if you had your own 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I mean, this is the only reference point people have for connectivity, even though we are now all experiencing it digitally. I mean, it's truly transformative.
I think one of the things that's always kind of interested me about it is that it is kind of just an idea, and I don't know that there's that many other things that you did a great board game and a book, but other than those two things, it's very hard to kind of hold it in your hand,
right?
You know, and you can't really buy it, and you can't sell it,
right? That's why the board game sales were terrible. Yeah, it was awful. Well, it was closeout. But
you
no.
know, but it's just because it's just an idea.
But the idea of the game, which was so much fun to play. I was telling you, I used to like to try and do with Bela Lugosi, which I know now all of you are going to try and do. But you know, to go from a game to something that is real, you know, in social media, those connections are real. And it's a way of, you know, if you know somebody on LinkedIn using, if you're a second degree or a first degree, you can use that to make another connection. It just, eventually we're just going to have 1 degree of Kevin Bacon because we are all so close together because of social media and the digital experience.
It makes the world that much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. In technology and in social media and you know, in this whole landscape where everything is here today, gone today, you know, this is really breaking the rule that it's survived for 20 years. I mean, this is unique, and I guess it's because of the fact that it's not something that's tactile. It just exists, and we can all be a part of it. But
I mean, it resonates. I mean, it really resonates, but it's, and I think the reason it works and it continues on is because it is such a great fundamental premise for social networking. It's really the only reason that we get on Twitter, that we get on Facebook, that we get on LinkedIn or any of them, MySpace at one point, anyone. But it's because of the connection, because we're trying to either keep the degrees we have or tighten or cut some degrees out or tighten it up. That's why it persists. And also because of the brilliant acting career of Kevin Bacon.
Absolutely.
Right. But thank you. I don't...
You just actually reminded me of something, Lance, and I meant to say this right up front, and I apologize, but we should give it up for Kevin Bacon once again, because The Following has just been picked up for season 3.
Thank you.
So, sorry for shoehorning that in here at this point, but...
I could actually tell you something about my relationship to the 6 degrees, and it may be the first time that I've found a truly practical use for it. It's a little embarrassing, so you're probably wondering why I would embarrass myself in front of this many people, but oftentimes I embarrass myself for a living. Sometimes, whether it's my age or my misspent youth, I forget whether or not I've actually worked with somebody or not. And on The Following, we have, for a kind of obvious reasons, a lot of actors that cycle their way through the show, and they'll come for, you know, an episode, and then, you know. I want to have a working relationship, and it's one of the great pleasures of working on the show is there's been so many fantastic actors that have come in, and I've gotten the chance to play with. And what I'll do is I'll check the call sheet on my way into work and look at the names and then, you know, check their bacon number.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Just so that I could walk up and say, hey, good to see you, or good to see you again.
Yeah.
Or I could say, oh yeah, you know, you work with my buddy, you know, whoever.
Right. Yeah. That's great. That's great. So, obviously, you know, the game being what it is for entertainment purposes, Kevin, you have taken this thing and have, you know, really kind of turned it into a humanitarian effort. You've created the sxsw.org about this, which, you know, kind of really came from this whole 6 degrees concept, but you took it to the next level.
Well, what happened was I was at a point in my life where I was kind of trying to think about different ways to give back. Sometimes that's a function of being a parent, or of just you to get to a point in your life when you step out of your own head a little bit every once in a while. I was looking at, thinking about Paul Newman, who I was a great admirer of, and what he did with branding his ability to cook and his enjoyment of food, and the amount of money that he raised for charity with Newman's Own. And I thought, well, what do I have? And then I was like, the Footloose Foundation doesn't really have the right kind of ring to it. And then I thought of 6 degrees, and I went online back then, and I went to 6degrees.com, and it was not available. It's like a real estate site. And then I went, oh, 6degrees.org.
Right.
And there it was. It said, you know, if you want to purchase this, you can. And I had no idea how to purchase a website, so I just got it. You know, I had a friend of mine kind of get it for me. And then, you know, after a certain amount of time, I hooked up with a fantastic organization called Network for Good. And a few years ago, at Sundance, we launched sxsw.org, which was a, you know, it was an idea that I had that we could look at the connection between celebrity and doing good in the world. And we've just launched a new website, and we're happy to be here at South by.
And you are, you know, kind of the masthead of that website, and people who know the game, people who know your career can go because they've heard you speak about this. But someone who they might not know is our next guest on the panel, and he's the guy behind the scenes at sxsw.org, Mr. Dan McCabe.
Yeah.
So I'm probably the least interesting guy you'll meet all week. You know, one of the first times I met Kevin, it was out in California. We were running this Student Innovation Challenge at Stanford University. And we had hundreds of students in a room trading ideas, competing for prizes, trying to come up with ways that social networking could be used for social good. And Kevin pays his own way, helps us cut costs by letting me drive him around California in a tiny little rental car. And I remember it because I don't think I ever feared for my life so much or followed driving laws so closely, except maybe when my first daughter, I was taking her home from the hospital. But the point here is, if Kevin sees people trying to do good, he walks the talk. He tries to do what he can to make a difference. You know, 6 Degrees over the past few years has helped over 4,000 charities raise more than $5 million. And Kevin helped do that with Network for Good by enabling people to do social fundraising, telling their stories, making it more personal, making it connected to everyday life. And to get a sense of that, how many folks here have a favorite charity, a cause they care about that they wish had more awareness, more support? Now, how many of you folks love going to those rubber chicken fundraising dinners that most of those charities put on? 6 Degrees is trying to do it differently. And right now, we're taking it up a notch by connecting celebrities to those grassroots causes, those change makers around the country, people that are trying to do good, but they're not necessarily pulling the camera crew with them. We're going to bring the attention to them using celebrities. If you look at, you know, Kevin, you a lot of times hear of high maintenance celebrities, divas, and this is where I kind of have to thank Kevin because he showed me something different. He showed me that celebrities are willing to do what it takes. I mean, who else would take a few minutes off of set to drop in at a Bacon Fest fundraiser for a local theater in Atlanta? Or spend his only free Sunday putting in time and money to put together a PSA encouraging hundreds of small businesses to give a percentage of sales to charity over the holidays. In fact, you've got to see that clip, so I think we have it here.
This holiday season, come on down and do your shopping at any one of these great local stores and get 2 for 1 gifts. That's 1 gift for you and 1 for the world. How can I possibly give the entire world a gift, you ask? Easy. Just shop at any one of these local stores because they've signed up to help you help the world. Let me explain. Local stores from all around the country have signed up to be part of shiftyourshopping.org, which means they will donate a percentage of any purchase you make to the charity you want anywhere in the world. So you can still buy Dad a new hilariously witty coffee mug. Kills me every time. That special someone something sexy. Danger, danger. And Gammy, a pair of Posey slippers with anti-slip treads. Either way, buy a holiday gift locally and you'll really give 2 gifts. One to someone you love and one to a charity you love. And that makes you a good citizen of the world. Blizzard Special! For a limited time, when you shop local, you'll have access to these beautifully designed, highly collectible, Kevin Bacon approved gift tags. Why Kevin Bacon? Because Kevin Bacon loves. Learn more at shiftershopping.org.
That's great.
You know, the video went viral, over 200,000 views. It got picked up by major media, so it went to millions more. And this cause, a bunch of grassroots folks, independent business owners, and other folks just trying to build community, they got more awareness, and this is from their own words, than they had ever seen in dozens of years on working on, you know, this localist movement. And I guess we could have done a rubber chicken dinner and had Kevin come, but 6 Degrees is doubling down on helping the million-plus tiny charities in the country connect with celebrities. Maybe it's a video. Maybe it's dropping in on a 5K race for women's veterans. Maybe it's incorporating local dance groups and causes into films and performances. But I may be the most boring guy on stage, but I think I'm your best connection, your charity's best connection to increasing their bacon number. 6degrees.org.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. It's very humbling to have played any type of a role whatsoever in any of that, which I really can't even say that I did, because it was really, our game was its own thing, and you really had that vision, and you as well, Dan, to create that. And it's an honor, honestly and truly, to sit next to you, because that's some incredible stuff right there. That's really.
You guys had the idea.
No, but you took the ball and ran it 99 yards for the game-winning touchdown with that right there. That was something. That's really special, and I think they do deserve
Thank
another
you.
big round of
Appreciate
applause.
that. Thank you.
So we're going to move on to our next guest on the panel. She's a fellow, not like I'm one, but she's an actress. You may recognize her from the CW show The Supernatural, or Supernatural, not The Supernatural, Sci-Fi's Eureka, or my personal favorite role of hers, which was in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. It's Felicia Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's cool.
Thanks, Felicia. I cut off half your intro there, so now that you're out here.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what they don't see.
That's true, yeah. Well, in any case, we can talk about the other half of your intro, because you're the creator and star of the hit web series The Guild, and then that led you to become the founder of Geek and Sundry internet programming, which I think you have a relationship with Will Wheaton, where you do the tabletop game show and things like that.
I know. I told you got to send me a free copy of your game.
I will send you all of the games.
Just for myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. But you're somebody who has, you know, the insight of having a vision in so much that you're getting away from network television and taking it online, taking it to the people in the ways that the future of, you know, the way we're all going to be watching TV or watching our laptops or computers to see our entertainment and get it that way. So how did that sort of, you know, seed sort of blossom?
I mean, I think it's interesting because the whole phenomenon of 6 Degrees around Kevin is kind of social media before social media. You know, every single person craves connection just as human beings, and technology has given us the opportunity to actually actuate that in real life. So, you know, if you virtually know somebody, if you met them at the party, you're going to be so much more friendly with them. I mean, it's not like standing in the corner. You're like, oh, I know you from Twitter. We're best friends now.
That's right.
And the beautiful thing about connections like that is that each person in the chain is equally as important. You know, there's no, if there's a break in the chain, that you don't reach one end or the other. And that's what social media can offer us as, you know, humanity. One idea from one person has to go through each link of the chain, and that's how viral things happen in general. And I think it's kind of beautiful, and to be able to channel it in a charity way, I think is fantastic. So when I first got on the internet in ye old internet days in like 2006 or 7, when I started making this stuff, it was very new, and it was like a small world. And now that we've expanded, the connections between one person or one idea and another are that much more important. So I think it's just really interesting and something that we should take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there different, like, governing bodies, or are there certain things that you can do or can't do? Like, for example, certain things
on the internet?
Yeah, well, obviously there's not really, but I mean, on the shows that you're producing, are you trying to keep them within, you know, what people would expect to see on network television, or are you trying to push boundaries and go a little?
No, they have a lot more money. No, I mean, I think that to me, the thing about the internet that we're talking about kind of niches, but each connection could be its own niche, but you know, the niches can be connected to each other. So to me, the advantage of the internet is that you can make something so specific and targeted, but it's connected to everything else by one click. Mm-hmm. So that click is a connection between idea, person, anything. I think it's a lot more interesting to try to address content in that sort of way. When I first started doing my show, everything was grassroots, and every single person I met face-to-face at conventions or conferences around the world, that was a vector in a sense. Each person's attention was a vector to another person that I never would have reached just directly. So that's kind of the beauty of the world we live in now.
How did you have a sense so early on that that's where things were going to go? How did your spidey sense tell you that this is something that I want to jump into and be involved with?
I come from a family of nerds, and my grandfather, when I was about 5 years old, gave my parents a laptop, which is literally as big as this table right here. But we were like, ooh, it's a laptop. Let's look at the screen. Look at it, it has green on it. I mean, it was so old school. And I remember sitting on my mom's lap, and she would argue politics about this guy she hated named Reagan.
Oh, gosh.
And on CompuServe. So like, I grew up thinking that a person can connect with another person in a meaningful way through this keyboard. And that's when when I started doing a show, I just thought, hey, this piece of content I made is great, but it becomes so much more alive when you give it to the world, and you have no more control over it. The audience has control over it to spread it however long the links of the world that they want to. So yeah, that's how I thought it. Nerddom, basically nerddom.
Cool.
And you're also taking an approach to kind of have your own charity cause with the things that you do online with the Stray Cat Alliance.
Yeah, I work a lot with animals, because animals can't take care of themselves sometimes. And also classical, thank you, animal lovers, hi. Who doesn't like animal? All the rest of you are horrible. And then I also work a lot with musical charities, because I was a violinist in Austin, actually, when I was in college. So that is something that's really close to my heart, that people can play musical instruments, kids especially.
That's great. And
you know, I think it's a testament to some cool things that 6 Degrees can do is that you kind of think that your one contribution on a very small level can't affect somebody in a larger way, but it's kind of like the butterfly effect. Mm-hmm. You know, if you change one person's life locally, then that can lead to things that you'd never imagine 20, 30 years down the line. So I think giving people that sense of empowerment, that local advocacy can make a real difference. It kind of makes it larger than yourself, because no one action is just you.
I was going to say that it would be nice, you know, we're all on Facebook and Twitter, and the idea is that we're connected to each other. That's really the whole idea of those things. Stay connected, share information. What I love about 6degrees.org is that it's not connected to a commercial entity, right? It's about empowering those connections. So why can't Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn adopt that as sort of, you know, champion that cause? If we're all connected on each of these platforms, then each of those platforms should be behind this cause, because it's a perfect reflection of what they're trying to do, but it's then actually making something of it, because simply being connected to each other isn't enough. We gotta take action.
Well, yeah, also people look at people, I mean, I have a lot of followers on Twitter, but and people think, oh, you tweeted it, I don't need to help out there. But really, people, if you really analyze how social media works, one person yelling does not ever transmit an idea. It is integral to everyone down the line of connection to amplify and keep the connection going, or it dies. It's like sort of channeling water. Down, you know, if there's a block, there's no more water, and so you can't underestimate the power you have as a consumer or an advocate. Your importance online, or even I guess in real life too.
Absolutely. Now, for something that's a little less life critical, I'd like to ask you, Felicia, how you are connected to Kevin Bacon.
This is the important part, actually. Okay.
Oh, you have notes. That's not fair.
No, I have. It's like it's a scroll. It's like this long. No, well, listen. I'm 2 degrees away from you in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Okay. I was in Warm Springs, which was a movie with Matt O'Leary, and he was in Death Sentence with you.
All right.
Okay.
Death Sentence.
I was in a movie called Rock Jocks with Eugene Bird, and he was in Sleepers. And then I was with Will Wheaton, which I do a million things with online. And he was in She's Having a Baby. So,
all right.
I know, right? Good movie. But what I would like to do is pimp for myself, and I'd love to be 1 degree away from you.
How do we do that?
I'd love to be on the following, and these are the 2 things I could do.
Okay.
Okay, let me demonstrate. I can be a cult member.
That's good.
That is on.
Or, and I can be a corpse.
I think she nailed it.
You okay?
But you believe me. You totally believed it, right?
I totally believed it.
Oh,
whoa.
I have the little eye fluttery thing sometimes, but if you just do a close-up of the back of my head, it'll be great. And I look great in a body bag. I'm very ergodynamic.
And it was obvious from the way you hit the floor that you do your own stunts.
Absolutely.
You saw that. That's money you're going to save.
That's money that we
All right,
save.
so just think about it. I'll give you my headshot before we leave, and there we go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nice. That was real live acting. I didn't know we were going to get that today.
Everybody.
That was real dead acting.
That was real dead acting.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was good stuff. We're asking for an encore now. I think we don't.
He wants me to die again. It's creepy now. It's like a snuff film.
Just something else regarding how we're talking about connectivity and everything else that you've gone through. In terms of how you've seen the growth from 20 years ago, or not necessarily 20 years ago, but in the time span of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon as a game, and how have you seen sort of, things evolve online?
Online?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more people on there.
Yeah.
People really like cat pictures still,
Cat
so that's a
pictures are
universal.
huge.
Kitten gifs.
Right. Yep.
Just no, I think that it's a lot. There's a lot more people online, which is awesome, and it's beginning to the online world is beginning to reflect the world in a much more one-to-one way versus it kind of was the king, the king and queen of the nerds, because we were early adopters, and then now it's really reflecting humanity in a broader sense. And I guess the one thing that it is kind of harder to transmit an idea because the platforms that we use, like Twitter and everything, they're flooded with content now, and it feels like we're like one generation away from being able to make it a little bit more useful for us to harness those platforms better, because basically we're kind of screaming into a bunch of people screaming a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
It's funny
That's
you say that, because you got to wonder if in this day and age, if somebody came up with 6 degrees, how quickly it would go. Because ideas seem to go like a flash. I mean, I'll see something, hear about something, and I'll think, oh, that was so great, and then
it's gone.
In 10 seconds, there's 15 other things to take a look at.
Yeah, it's hard, and you wonder like what is not standing out because of the flood of information, and it's almost not incumbent upon us. It's incumbent upon the things that we use to be able to help us harness information and store it and make it have bigger impact. But at the same time, that kind of goes back to the importance of every single individual's transmission of each idea. And I mean, I read somewhere that we're all descended from like 1,000 people who survived the Ice Age. It's probably not true, but I read it on the internet. And but really, we are connected in an amazing way. And online, it's so much more easy to transmit from person to person. So there's power in that, but there's also kind of a drawback. And there are drawbacks in that. And I think as we see technology kind of catch up with that mass movement online, it'll get a little more easy to use.
And Lance, you'll be at the forefront of all of that.
Yeah, well, I was also wondering, like, who do we include then? Because there's Vine stars, and there's YouTube stars, and there's Instagram stars. Do we have to include those people in the game? Because it gets very confusing. The big difference between when this started and now is that everybody's a content creator, and people have these random interactions, like I'm having right now with Kevin Bacon and Felicia Day.
Right.
That connect.
You're asking because we just did a Vine together.
Yes, I am now.
You want to know what your number just became, right?
I have my number. Right.
He wants to be a 1. He can't be on the 1
to
unless he's a dead following person, too.
No, I can't. What? A dead follower?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't die.
Come be a corpse with me.
I will gladly be a corpse with you. Though not right now. But yeah, I was like 4 degrees. Now I want to be 1 degree. But one other thing I was going to say that actually is kind of interesting. I don't think IMDb would have survived or been as successful without that game. Because I realized that was the reason we were all on it at the very beginning. It launched at the exact same time, and we would run into our offices and play it and find we were all cheating. Admit it, you were all cheating. So, you also, they should be thanking you. I think Amazon owns it if you want to call them up.
There you go. Well, we weren't cheating when Mike, Craig, and I did that, but there was one story I'll tell before we bring our next guest on. It was when we were on the Jon Stewart show, and I think you just had this in your holster ready to fire when you met us. And I don't know if you remember who you asked us to connect back to you. Larry Storch.
Oh, yeah, I love Larry Storch.
I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
I still have no idea how to link Larry Storch to you. You may know.
I don't know. No, I just.
But I did cheat on the show. We were on TV, and what was I going to do? Say we can't do it? We said Larry Storch was in the big crowd scene in Nighthawks with Rutger Hauer and Sylvester Stallone. So sometimes you kind of have to be.
Oh, you just made that up?
That was purely made up on the spot. It was either that or it looked like a complete failure. So we had to just, go for it. But our next guest probably doesn't know who Larry Storch is either. She's actually, and all due respect to Larry Storch, fine actor. Anyway, our next guest is the only panelist here who is younger than the game itself. She is 16 years old. From Game of Thrones, please welcome Maisie Williams.
Thank you, doll.
Hiya. Hello. Hi, everyone.
So I'm sure there are most of the room here is a fan of yours, Maisie. A lot of Game of Thrones fans here.
I just want to say that there's always milestones in one's career and one's life, and one of them is when, when you're an actor and beautiful young girls come up and say, "I'm a big fan of yours," and then at some point they come up to you and they say, "My mother's a big fan of yours."
There you go.
Now, I've gotten to the point where they're telling me that their grandmothers are huge fans of yours. But I have to say, this is the first time that I ever really got my head around the fact that an actress whose work I admire would be younger than the game.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's surreal.
It's kind of heavy.
Yeah. Well, Maisie, I think you may know your connection to Kevin Bacon, but I don't know if the rest of the room here does. Can you connect yourself to Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, my Bacon number is 3. I worked with Sean Bean in season 1. He played my dad. Sean Bean worked with Minnie Driver, I'm sorry. Sorry.
In Die Another Day.
Die Another Day. And then Minnie Driver worked with you in Sleepers.
Correct. Very good.
There we go. Well done.
Very good. See, in the olden ways that we would have done the game, we used to try to take the scenic route and go around, and so I was trying to connect you, and I forgot about Die Another Day, so I had Maisie with Sean Bean, and then Sean Bean being in all of the Lord of the Rings movies with Sean Astin, who was in The Goonies, with Corey Feldman, who was in the one with the vampires in Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland, who was in Flatliners with you, Kevin Bacon, as I just spit across the table.
So you like to make it long.
You know, I hog the mic. It's kind of, yeah.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's what the great thing about the game and everything we're talking about here is that, you know, you can be connected 2 degrees away. You can find another way that you're connected because you know that guy who knows that girl who knows that person over there, and it just makes the circle that much bigger.
Yeah, when you type my name in, when I typed my name into the website, it took me another route through production side of things instead. Right. I did a Funny or Die skit, and someone who was working on that at the production side had done something. My number was still 3, but it's just a completely different route.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And then you'll have the purists who are like, no, 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 it's got to be through movies. So I think that what you're saying is now, you know, we're all connected. It doesn't matter if you've done it through a movie, TV show, through something on Vine or Funny or Die or whatever. So we're all there. And everybody in this room, like we said, is 1 degree. So, Maisie, you have an interesting story about a household pet that you have. Yeah.
So I have a tortoise called Barney, and if you follow me on Twitter, then I tweet about him sometimes and Instagram him as well. And for Christmas, Barney got the family a Christmas present. Like, that's what we do in our family. And this year, Barney got us the Tremors box set. So that's what we spent our Christmas. Yeah. I love the hair, by the way.
I love that they have a box set. Just so you know, I'm only in the first one.
No, I know.
So as far as I'm concerned, you can stop after 1.
Too late.
For the Michael Gross fans.
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
no, watch them all. Watch them all.
Yeah.
Watch them all.
Yeah, so you have a tortoise. My last name is Turtle.
Ah.
We're practically related. I don't know the difference.
So after tweeting about it, I discovered that in America, you guys call tortoises and turtles turtles. You just call them all the same thing, which is so much easier. But the difference between a turtle and a turtle mainly lives in sea, and a tortoise lives on land, and you can get like giant turtles and giant tortoises, but one of them's mainly on land, and one of them's in water.
Which makes sense, because I like swimming.
Okay, so, there we go then.
Very good. Well, that was great. We all learned a lesson here today, which most of you probably already knew, but I missed that day in biology class. So what I think we'd like to do now with our panel is take it to the crowd, and we'll have a little give and take here and see who is connected to Kevin Bacon and in what fun ways you guys are connected to Kevin Bacon. So, do we have? Where's the mic? Where am I? Oh, here he is. All right, sir. And how are you connected to Kevin Bacon?
I think I am as near to 0 as it's possible to be.
No. He means that in a good way. His Bacon number is 0. That's not something we have to be sad about.
My name's Kevin Bacon. I'm a musician and a producer.
Very good.
And I've had to experience the look of disappointment on 1,000 hotel receptionist faces.
Well, I got to tell you, truth be told, Kevin Bacon is a little bit of a plant today. But I could tell you that yesterday on Twitter, I knew and admired his work as a producer. He's an excellent, excellent record producer. And the reason that I knew about his work is because people would come up to me and say, hey, I like you in Footloose, but I really like the records that you do better. Not meaning the Bacon Brothers, and not meaning anything that I wrote or sang, but other records that I produced. And I finally got hip to the fact that there was another Kevin Bacon out there. And then yesterday on Twitter, I saw that Kevin Bacon was saying, well, I'm at South by Southwest. And I said, I got just the place for you to show up.
That's right. Very cool.
So thank you for being here.
I'll see you later. Bye.
Just to echo what you're saying there, Kevin had reached out to me on Facebook, and I thought, oh, that's cool. Kevin Bacon's reaching out to me. We're going to be on this panel. It's great. And I click on the link, and I see Kevin, and I'm like, well, that ain't Kevin Bacon. So there you go, just echoing your sentiment there. So next on the microphone.
Hi, my name is Holly Hirsch, not Kevin Bacon. My Bacon number is 3, and I got my Bacon number coincidentally the same year that the game was born. In 1994, I took an undergraduate course at the University of Colorado called Deviance in U.S. Society, taught by an amazing professor, Dr. Patty Adler. Patty's sister is Kira Sedgwick, and Kira is your lovely wife.
There you go.
Very cool.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I think my Bacon number is 2 or 3. I was in band with the drummer from Idiot Box with Travis.
That's my son. So
Very cool.
that's a musical, familial musical Bacon number. I'd say that's a 2 if you were in a band with a drummer from Idiot Box. Perfect.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Hi, my name is Jody. My Bacon number was 3, but I met Felicia Day last year, and she just met you, so now my Bacon number is 2.
Through Felicia. Through you.
Yeah, through me. I feel like I'm enabling a cheat here, but okay.
Yep. It's a cheat, but...
Yeah, I'm an easy, I'll just be easy for everyone. No, wait a second.
What? Yeah.
Take the mic away from me, Maisie.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and actually, I don't know what my Kevin Bacon number is, I'm sorry. But I do have a question for you guys.
Sure.
So as actors, you're all talking about how you're tweeting, you're active on Twitter. I'm really curious, especially about Maisie, because you're 16, but how you kind of balance wanting to connect with your fans, connect with your friends, versus privacy, because that's a huge thing for teens. So especially you and just maybe the rest of you, how you connect versus protect yourselves and your families.
Great question.
So I use Twitter, Vine, and Instagram for public kind of use, and that's where anything I post, I'm kind of open to the fact that that could be shown to anyone throughout the world. So I'm careful about what I post on that, and then I use my personal Facebook just between friends, and yeah, that's how I contact with most people as well. Yeah, so that's kind of how I do it. I don't try and mix anything. Yeah.
I'd like to say something about the Twitter-verse. You know, I kind of came late to it, and I was a little bit, well, I was certainly reluctant about it. And I remember people pitching the Facebook idea to me and say, well, it's cool, man, because like, a lot of people that you haven't seen for years will get in touch with you. And I was like, that's my worst nightmare. And then the idea that you know, you just do something and you talk about it just seemed, you know, self-serving and sort of silly. But it was with 6degrees.org that I started to kind of come around to the idea. And the thing that I hadn't really thought about, I had thought about what was going out, but not so much about what was coming back in. And for instance, you know, I'm someone who really tries my best to stay connected to people and not live a life that is, to the best of my ability, you know, behind an iron gate. It's partly because of the acting piece of it, because I feel like it's almost never in my career have I been asked to play a movie star or a television star. I maybe had 2 parts like that. Mostly I'm playing, you know, whatever, cops or, you know, just regular people. So I need to really be around regular people in order to know how to play them. And so I think that even with that, you don't always get response on what you're doing and what your work is. And a long time ago, I learned that it was a bad idea for me to read my own reviews, so I stopped reading reviews. And so you have sort of like trade papers and stuff like that, but you're not quite sure how people are responding. And yeah, there's sometimes nasty stuff is said on Twitter, but for the most part, I find it to be a very, very supportive place to go. honestly, if I'm having a bad day or questioning, you know, what I'm doing with my work or with the show or whatever, I'll go check it out. And there'll be some, you know, pats on the back. And I find that to be like a really valuable thing, honestly. But I do think that it is, you know, you have to be careful about your privacy as well. And I think that you're very smart to have those kinds of rules for yourself at this point.
And as parents, it's also, you know, something we should do to try to, you know, kind of set guidelines for our kids and how they use the internet and try to make it a safe place for them to go and explore and not, you know, get into trouble and things like that. So
yeah.
Hi, my name is Jody Green, and my husband actually owns a business networking organization called 6Degrees. And it's funny because they actually raise a lot of money for charity too, so you guys should probably connect. But
sure.
We joke all the time about how we should get Kevin Bacon at one of the events, or, you know, it was based off of the theory of 6 degrees of separation, but you know, what a great coincidence. And we're sitting on the couch the other day and I'm looking through the panels, see what I'm gonna go to at South by, and I was like, oh my God, this is the opportunity. How hilarious is that? So it is amazing how close we all really are connected. So I just wanted to say hi, and I didn't want to miss this opportunity, so.
Great.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Last one. My name is Matt, and I'm 1 degree away, but I think I owe you an apology.
Uh-oh.
It has to do with privacy. So I'm from New York. I lived probably a block from where you lived, and we shared a subway. And one day, my wife and I were going to work late, and you came in, and you do exactly like you said. You kind of do your own thing, and you had your hat down, and it was like, that's Kevin Bacon. We both love Kevin Bacon, so I tried to, this was like 8 years ago, I tried to take my phone. I'm just texting, you know, but I was taking a picture of you. So yeah, the best part is you were texting, you know, like you're like, oh God, you know, and I take the picture, but I didn't turn the volume off, so in this subway, the like, you know, the flash. So I apologize, but that's my 1 degree away.
That's all right.
There you go.
More importantly, how did I look?
As good as you do now.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Amy Saunders, and I think I'm 2 degrees because I'm close friends from high school with someone you work with, I think every episode, Michael Strix.
Yeah. In fact, Michael just, yeah, he's a fantastic producer on our show, The Following. There we go. We are very connected.
Great, good. I'll tell him he's doing a good job.
All right.
Perfect.
My name is Mike Golden, and my number is 3. When I was in college, I worked on a play with Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper was with Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook, and she, of course, was in X-Men First Class with you. My question is, are the Bacon Brothers going to play South by Southwest?
We would love to. We would love to. We just finished a new record, and it's coming out soon, maybe in the next month or so. But we're actually in the middle of shooting The Following right now. So I came out pretty much just for the night to hang out with all you beautiful people, and
right, well,
gonna run back and keep shooting it. You know, I kind of had an idea that, you know, you were talking about the idea that these connections now would be through Vine or other kinds of platforms. But maybe if you take a Vine of all of us, we'll all be 1 degree. Wouldn't that work? But you gotta make sure you pan across every man jack in this. Well, we want to, if I'm in the frame and we just pan.
Yeah, I want you to be sort of like.
Yeah, so as I go, you pan. I only got 6 seconds, right? Everyone ready?
Nice, like a wave.
Too fast?
Perfect.
Let's go one more time.
Okay.
One more time.
All right, we're gonna get this way. Ready?
Because you got to say action.
And action.
Nice.
You're all 1 degree now.
So now everybody is truly 1 degree from Kevin Bacon. We're going to wrap up now. I just want to acknowledge another person in the audience right now today, Craig Fass, wherever you are. He's another co-creator of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. There he is over there. So if anybody has any stumpers, they want to find out how Beaver Cleaver is connected to Kevin Bacon, Gary Coleman, Craig Fass is your man. All right, so from there, I'd like to thank the panel, Dan, Lance, Felicia, Maisie, and of course, Kevin Bacon. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a dude.
Thank you all so much. Peace. Thanks for coming.